So we want to get to earlier this morning, MoDOT making a plea for everyone to stay home. We have Mayor Quinton Lucas from Kansas City on the phone with us this morning. Yeah. Obviously a very busy man today. Mayor Lucas, thank you for your time. You retweeted Gary Lezak yesterday and said, Mother Nature really trying to test Kansas City's new and improved snow removal program. Tell us about the new and improved snow removal program and how it's working today.
Well, you know, for a generation, it has seemed that we have underperformed in our snow plow response. I think what you're seeing now is a clear focus from our city leadership and our workforce to make sure that we're out there. So today we have 300 trucks. We're covering 6,000 lane miles. And, of course, we started the season with 40,000 tons of salt. And so we are getting out and about. We recognize that many people are staying home, thankfully. However, there are some who need to get to work or to their families. And so we will make sure that our staff is out there all day. I have heard a few concerns and complaints thus far about streets not being covered, but as you all have been reporting and talking about all morning, we just have so much snow continue to fall this morning that even streets that have been covered, I drove over a few this morning, have had good accumulations since they were covered an hour to 2 hours ago. And so we'll have folks out all day and tomorrow. That's why we've suspended trash pickup for Thursday and Friday of this week to make sure we're out and ready to respond to the storm. But on your city streets, we have our crews out. Now, some of the highways, interstates, those are covered by our friends at the Missouri Department of Transportation. But I know everybody out there is working as hard as they can right now.
I'm going to talk to you about that. I know at one point yesterday you were thinking you might not have to delay trash service like we've done the last couple of times of storms when you pulled drivers from other departments. And now you have had to delay it. When did you guys make that call? What went into that?
Well, you know, the Kansas City is, as we have all known living here for years, the weather is something, right? I mean, we were in the 60s yesterday.
The weather is something.
And you're able to, you know, kind of walk around without a jacket, and then we have a significant snow event today. But I think both our emergency services folks, our city manager, director of public works, have always spent some time looking at these storm trends. This was a decision they made earlier in the week, around Monday or Tuesday, to make sure that they could be ready for the response later in the week. And so we have our people out there. We are proud of our folks, but it is kind of looking at what folks like Gary Lezak and others are saying, what our reports are, and we like to be more cautious than we can, so we make these decisions even if we hadn't gotten this amount of snow. But thankfully, I think they all made the right call.
So a big topic for you the last few days, actually week plus, has been the budget you presented for the city. And the city actually tweeted out, I'm looking at all your Twitter feed this morning, the budget including $600,000 more this year for funding for snow removal vehicles. Is that because KC needs that many more like newer snow vehicles or replace some of the old ones? What's that extra $500,000 plus for snow removal vehicles in this year's budget?
Well, you know, our first priority always is making sure that we're paying our workforce well and having more people that can drive our snow plows. And so we're doing a good job of that and a better job of that elsewhere in the budget. But certainly, yes, new snow equipment, new plows. One of the challenges I know that when I became mayor and as we've onboarded a new city manager and others is that we were using a lot of very dated technology. And I think in some ways you can't even call it technology. We had printed out maps that were laminated, all folded over by now, that dated back to the 1980s. We had trucks that were not able, I think, to navigate a lot of our neighborhood residential streets, which a lot of people, particularly in older parts of the city, I know have great concerns with, that a plow has not been on their streets for years in Midtown, Waldo, elsewhere. And this year we're able to address that by putting out new snow equipment, equipping more trucks with snow equipment, and that's the sort of work that this is going to be doing. But as you might imagine, that $600,000 can get spent fairly quickly. So this is just one step in hopefully a years-long improvement, because I have a very clear goal. Kansas Cityans should be able to see the best snowplow response in the city, like they do in the suburbs or anywhere else. And I went to school for part of my upbringing in the northeastern United States, saw how they dealt with snowstorms pretty quickly, often heavier. I'd like us to match what you might see if you were in a northeastern snowstorm as well, and there's no reason we can't do that here in Kansas City.
I hope we don't continue to get that kind of snow, though. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Mayor Quinton Lucas.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. Stay safe, everybody.
Yes, sir.